5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. What is up, everybody? It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles, Monday, March 20th. Happy spring, 2023 AD. Why do they say spring has sprung? And we cherish women. Donald J. Trump cherishes women. He protects women. And so too does Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida.
Not seen any facts yet, and so I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know this, the Manhattan District Attorney is a Soros-funded prosecutor. And so he, like other Soros-funded prosecutors, they weaponize their office to impose a political agenda on society at the expense of the rule of law and public safety. He has downgraded over 50% of the felonies to misdemeanors. He says he doesn't want to even have jail time for the vast, vast majority of crimes. And what we've seen in Manhattan is we've seen the crime rate go up, and we've seen citizens become less safe. And so you're talking about this situation with, and look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that.
Fake
but
news.
What I can speak to
Maybe.
is that if you have a prosecutor
Why are they laughing?
who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office. And I think that that's fundamentally wrong. I also think it's important to point out when you're talking about these Soros-funded prosecutors, yes, they may do a high-profile politicized prosecution, and that's bad, but the real victims are ordinary New Yorkers, ordinary Americans in all these different jurisdictions, that they get victimized every day because of the reckless political agenda that these Soros DAs bring to their job. They ignore crime and they empower criminals, and that hurts people. Hurts a lot of people every single day. These Soros district attorneys are a menace to society, and I'm just glad that I'm the only governor in the country that's actually removed one from office during my tenure.
Based, Ron DeSantis.
And in terms of, we are not involved in this, won't be involved in this. I have no interest in getting involved in some type of manufactured circus by some Soros DA, okay?
Nice.
He's trying to do a political spectacle. He's trying to virtue signal for his base. I've got real issues I got to deal with here in the state of Florida. We're obviously shutting down CBDC, which is important. We've got so many things pending in front of the legislature. I've got to spend my time on issues that actually matter to people. I can't spend my time worrying about things of that nature. So we're not going to be involved in it in any way. I'm fighting for Floridians, and I'm fighting back against Biden. That's what I do every single day.
Nice. That was nice. A little bit long, a little bit boring. He's a politician. But thank you, Florida's greatest governor, Ron DeSantis. Guys, this is the Hake Report. We're going to be talking about... What else are we going to talk about? Oh, Trump says that it's a lie. He said he didn't do that, what they claim that he did. So I'm going to tell you the truth. According to our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. And also there's other mess, the usual Hake mess. That they're trying to invade hockey, the LGBTIQ. Oh, no, Q, not IQ. People and their allies in the mainstream media, hockey writers. I saw on the Blaze that they're pushing that. Ridiculous. And there's another Italian lady. Ron DeSantis is Italian, I heard. And Trump doesn't call him Meatball Ron. Some of you guys think that he did, but no, Trump is not a vulgar person. That's too vulgar for him. But there's another Italian, Robin DiAngelo, saying that the POCs, people of so-called color, need to get away from white people. Fine with me, I guess, right? All that and your calls if you would like to call in. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing my Wovenhand t-shirt. It's not womanhood. Nick, host of Nick's Stream, the Anchor Baby show, he was looking at it when I was reading Super Chats on the Jason Lee Peterson show earlier, just an hour ago or less. And he's all, does your shirt say womanhood? No, it says Wovenhand. Wovenhand, it's a Christian band or a Christian artist. I'm blanking on his name, but it's the same guy. Some of you may recall, some of you old timers, some of you long timers may recall 16 Horsepower. Excellent band. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he was a son of like a fire and brim, or nephew or grandson or something, of a fire and brimstone preacher. And nice music. It might have Joan of Arc on it. Is this Joan of Arc? It looks like a woman to me on this t-shirt. It's brown t-shirt. And off-white, yellowish, cream colored, peach colored or something. Nice. Right on. So anyway. Best president of our lifetime is Obama, says Kuodor Bai. Well, he was the biggest gun salesman. Let me get right to this little detail here. Trump, our greatest president, is being persecuted. But let me quickly show this clip 13. He attended the NCAA or NCAA wrestling championships in 2023. This clip 13 here. And he congratulated a guy who looks like he's probably a winner. You know, a short little wrestling guy. I don't know how little or short he is, but looks like he is. Because Trump's way taller than him. And look at this. I heard he got a standing ovation, too, over here. Trump shaking his hand. White man, young white man, maybe? Or Hispanic, possibly. Maybe his mom, who knows? Group picture. Trump, a man of the people, so nice. When he's speaking from the heart, just off the cuff, very entertaining as well. In the face of persecution, Trump received a huge standing ovation from the NCAA wrestling crowd. USA, 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 which is a racist chant, by the way, I will have you know. That's according to DC Enquirer, Enquirer, by reporting by Reed Cooper, who is pro-Trump type of a guy. After the 45th president and leading 2024 presidential candidate Donald J. Trump announced he is expecting to be arrested on Tuesday over yet another witch hunt investigation, he received a standing ovation from the crowd at the National Collegiate Athletic Association. That's what NCAA stands for. Wrestling tournament in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Saturday. Based Tulsa, Oklahoma. Nice. Trump attended the championship game as a guest of Republican Senator Mark Wayne, all one word, Mullen. Trump can be seen in his classic stylish blue suit and red tie, walking into the arena accompanied by First Lady Melania Trump's father, Victor Navs, Knavs, his father-in-law, who might be younger than him, I'm not sure, and a security detail to a standing ovation. Trump held a massive rally in June 2022, last year, at the same Bach Center Arena that the wrestling tournament was held in. Despite dirty film gal Stormy Daniels, real name, I forget what, being ordered, did you know this? She was ordered to pay Trump $300,000 for losing a defamation case against him. Because he might have said something about her, and she lost. And so she had to pay him $300,000. Far left Manhattan DA, District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, the top cop of, oh no, not the top cop, well, Manhattan area. Alvin Bragg, he's the black guy, sort of fat, currently unfairly targeting and reportedly planning to bring charges against Trump over a $130,000 payment made by his former lawyer, the rat, convicted liar, Michael Cohen, to Stormy Daniels, supposedly, right? This will likely backfire for the far-left Manhattan DA and result in skyrocketing fundraising and poll numbers for Trump. In August, when the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, also known as the Deep State, conducted a raid, well, part of it anyway, conducted a raid on Mar-a-Lago, Trump's home in Palm Beach, Florida, contributions to Trump's PAC, Political Action Committee, skyrocketed over $1 million in 2 days. Let me read to you this little statement from Trump from March, 9th, I think it was. I think I have it somewhere here. Oh, yes. I don't know if I can put it into the folder in time. Let's go ahead and do it. So I'll put it in Trump statement 1 and 2. 1 and 2. It's kind of long, guys, but let me read it to you. Here, let me just make sure I have this right. Okay, pardon me while I have this strange interlude. I did absolutely nothing wrong, says Trump. I never had an affair with Stormy Daniels. There you go. There you go. He didn't do it. Nor would I have wanted an affair with Stormy Daniels. This is a political witch hunt trying to take down the leading candidate by far in the Republican Party, while at the same time also leading all Democrats in the polls, including Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Congress and numerous Democrat district attorneys general, and Department of Justice itself, all anti-white, anti-Trump organizations, which has unprecedentedly placed top DOJ prosecutors in Manhattan into the Manhattan DA's office in order to get Trump, have found that I did nothing wrong. They couldn't pin anything on him, but rent a black, and they can do it. They don't care about the truth as much. Exceptions to the rule, right? JLP being an exception, I suppose. Joel Friday here being an exception. He will be here tomorrow anyway. Now they fall back on the old and rebuked case, which has been rejected by every prosecutor's office that has looked at this Stormy Horseface Daniels matter. Should I disavow that? I cherish horseface women. I do. Shout out to Cortez. Anyway, where I relied on the council in order to resolve the extortion of me, which took place a long time ago. Since then, I have won lawsuits for hundreds of thousands of dollars against this Stormy Daniels woman, dirty female. And every prosecutor's office, which, by the way, she was, side note, she was, like, honored along with Michael Avenatti. I'm flexing my muscles, by the way, while I'm pointing up to WeHo, West Hollywood. The city of West Hollywood honored her and Avenatti. Remember that? And that's like the gay capital of L.A. Or L.A. County, anyway. Terrible. So all the worst people are all on the same side against Trump. I mean, there's evil people who are like so-called pro-Trump. But anyway, so back to this Trump statement. Blah, blah, blah. FEC, turn this fake case down, said Trump. This is not a case. A state case, it's a federal case, and they have all passed on it. Even the previous Manhattan DA, Cyrus Vance, who was not black. He was black on the inside, but he was Cy Vance. He did not bring charges because I am guilty of nothing except for the fact that I am beating all Republicans and demon rats. Well, he says Democrats. Badly in the presidential race. It is Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. The no collusion Mueller hoax. Another targeted false attacks against me all over again. Weaponization of our judicial system. Yeah. Judicial system weaponized against whites, men, Christians, and sensible people, pro-Trump people. It's ridiculous. Christians. Did I say the Christians twice? I am shocked that this Soros-backed radical left prosecutor who's allowed violent crime to reach new heights in New York without any retribution would consider bringing such a charge against the undisputed frontrunner of one of the two major political parties in our nation. Additionally, state statute of limitations have long since ended, and in fact, radical left media 1.5 years ago did a countdown on the statute of limitations allowed to expire. The countdown ended until now. Nobody had any idea that it was allowed to continue in this one lowball office, the Manhattan district's SUDNY, whatever. State, never mind. SDNY? Southern District of New York? Is that what it is? It is appalling that the Democrats would play this card. It only means that they are certain they cannot win at the voter booth, so they have to go, of course, right? So they have to go to a tool that has never been used in such a way in our country, weaponized law enforcement. I and hundreds of millions of American people who are backing me because they want to see our nation to be great again and are the victims of this corrupt, depraved, and weaponized justice system where Hunter Biden and his father can commit horrendous crimes, allegedly. I don't know anything about it. Not that interested. All accurately documented on his laptop and nothing happens. But with me, after looking at 11 million pages worth of documents, they go after a hoax that every other prosecutor's office which reviewed it, even the U.S. Congress, has long ago dropped. I will not be deterred. I will always continue to be your voice, and I will keep fighting for our great country. And 9 days later, he tweeted March 18th. This was kind of shocking to me. And I might have to censor some of this if he says anything about the election. I don't think he does, though. Now, illegal leaks from a corrupt and highly political Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which has allowed new records to be set in violent crime and whose leaders funded by George Soros, indicate that with no crime being able to be proven, based on an old and fully debunked by numerous other prosecutors fairy tale, the far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. That's tomorrow. Protest, take our nation back, he says. And so everybody is all pretending to be all worried about Trump supporters rioting. Oh, dear. Those violent Trump supporters, those violent insurrectionists. Not one non-Trump supporter got killed with that violent insurrection. They were all Trump supporters who died. So effective is the violence of those armed insurrectionists, armed with zip ties. And they didn't use the zip ties on anybody, but they were armed with them. Give me a break. Happy spring in these trying times, says being enlightened till I rise. Agree, man. Agree. Or lady. Not sure. Let me get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Joe, thanks for calling. How are you doing?
Good morning, James.
Morning.
So you don't have to worry yet. This Manhattan case is a very weak one that could very well be knocked down to a misdemeanor.
Oh, okay. I wasn't worried. I'm not worried in the slightest, said Trump and Hake. Nice. Are you there?
It has a whole... Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It has a whole lot of legal wiggle room.
Right.
But it is interesting to see. I mean, I just hope there's not a whole lot of violence tomorrow or sometime this week when he does get arrested, because that will happen.
You think he will get arrested?
I do. I think he'll get arrested and indicted. But again, he is still a very, very, very long ways from going to prison
Right.
or this case sticking. Again, it could easily be not knocked down to a misdemeanor. I won't bore you with the minutia of the federal versus state law, but Trump is still a long ways from having any serious problems with this.
So Trump always tells the truth, is what you're saying, because he told the truth on Truth Social that he will be arrested on Tuesday, and you're saying that you agree with him.
From my sources and from looking at what's been done already, I can't say for sure Tuesday, but it looks very imminent that he'll be indicted. Yes.
Dang! Wow. Yeah, I hope there's no violence either. There's no need for that.
Yeah. The problem is that, Trump is protected by Secret Service 24 hours a day. So how are they going to arrest him when he's surrounded by Secret Service? So they're trying to figure that out right now, too.
They got to work out their things. You said your sources. Do you have like insider sources type things? Are you deep state? Are you a Fed? You don't have to answer that.
I've told you that I've served on some congressional committees, and I have a lot of contacts in Washington, D.C. still to this day.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Let's see.
But the bigger problem is that what's going on in Georgia, not the New York case. The Georgia case looks very, very problematic for Trump, as well as potentially the J6. But I'm far more interested to see what happens in Georgia than Manhattan. Manhattan could go away very easily.
J6 is pretty ridiculous, don't you think?
No, we disagree on that.
What's not ridiculous about it? Okay, J6, they call it an insurrection, and they say that he incited a riot.
And I think
did I summarize the situation accurately?
Pretty accurately, yeah.
And you think that he incited a riot?
It's not just the incitement of riot; it's the fake electors he tried to put in place in the states too. That's highly illegal.
But isn't there? I don't know. Isn't it? What's the big deal about that? Wasn't there some reasoning that he had behind it?
Oh, of course he has his reasons, but you can't just swap out electors, James.
Like a legal reason.
Well, again, even that comes down to depending on whether or not Trump really believed the election was stolen from him or not. So there's still a lot of legal room there, too.
Yeah. Okay. Then he'll be fine on that, because I don't think that he would say something that he didn't mean, even though I have close.
I don't know about if he'll be fine, but he'll have a tougher time of it. But none of this is a slam dunk for the prosecution.
What's the Atlanta one, just to refresh our memories?
When Trump tried to pressure the Republican Secretary of State and governor to find him the 11,700 votes.
Right. That one was totally fine, too. Okay. But you're saying that that's a problematic one for him.
It's being classified as a just press play prosecution because they have him on tape saying that. And supposedly, even things that I'm not aware of are still yet to come out about that as to what Trump did to try to change the votes.
What did he say that was wrong?
To find him the 11,700 votes that he claims were stolen from him, or to just come out and say there was election fraud, and he'll do the rest. That's what he's on tape saying.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, the Secretary of State was saying, Mr. President, you have wrong information. There was no fraud. You were not cheated out of those 11,700 votes.
Okay.
We were not just going to say that. And then Trump said, well, if you don't do that, it's going to be very bad for you. You can't do that, Trump.
Can't do that because people think that that's a threat or something?
Exactly, yes.
But that's subject to interpretation too. This is all one side believes one thing about the election, the other side believes the other thing about the election. and it's a difference of opinion.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true, and that's why there's no, like I said, I'll say it again, it's no slam dunk for either side.
Right. It's
going to be interesting.
But you said that you said in a prior call that this was not politically motivated.
The Georgia one?
Well, that basically none of it was. I said in general, like all these things that are going after Trump. You know, that black lady who's the Attorney General of New York, I think? And
I think the point I was trying to make, James, is that if Trump didn't do that, I mean, again, Trump's CFO or CEO, depending on what source, he is in jail now because he did the crimes.
That was the tax fraud thing?
Yeah, so if Trump didn't do the crimes, they couldn't go after him. What was my point?
They can argue that they can if they can argue that he did a crime, whether their argument is right or wrong, then they can go after him.
The whole New York thing is not about paying the porn star. Then the New York thing is about how Trump paid back his lawyer Cohen and how they classified it. Because according to Cohen, they classified it as legal services. And if he did that, and if he used campaign funds, that's the felony. But that's a whole lot of ifs there.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. A whole lot of ifs.
Yeah. What a mess. They try to get you on all kinds of weird paperwork type technicalities.
All right, listen. I'll let you go, James, but I just wanted to say, too, that from our call last week, I really don't hate you, James. In fact, I do see some good in you still, even though we disagree vehemently. And again, I would like to see you be effective and a force for good in this world, which is why I'm hard on you sometimes. Because I think sometimes you get off the rails and you do more harm than good without really intending to.
Interesting, man. I was thinking of putting out that clip from where you and I argued about the fact that that anger causes health issues such as, strokes and stuff like that. Because I was arguing that I had not mocked your stroke. I was arguing that you're angry, and that's what gave you that thing back then.
It doesn't really matter, buddy, because, again, talking to my doctor just last week, he is amazed at the progress I've made.
Yeah.
Because, again, my stroke was on my brainstem, and 85% of people don't wake up from that and don't recover, never walk again, never work again, and I've beaten all those odds.
Nice.
And I'm going to continue to. So, and that's because God is with me, and I'm a strong Christian man of faith, and I couldn't do it without His strength and His leadership. So that's why I'm recovering so well.
All right. Well, don't celebrate the tearing down of the whites and the Christians in JLP and Hague.
James, my wife is white. I love white people. I don't have any problem. I don't tear down anybody, let alone white people.
And you're half white too, or not?
Not quite half, but no. But
more than 30%?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wish you well, Joe. In Phoenix, take care.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye. Richard in North Carolina, first-time caller. Richard, thanks for calling. What is up?
Hey, buddy, I'm just glad that I've called once before, I think, man.
Oh, okay. Right on.
I'm becoming more and more of a fan, and I was just listening in, and somebody here in North Carolina, we have a crooked commie governor that cheated his way in twice, but the state has basically been for Trump, and I've been hearing about this. My son was telling me last night, they're gonna arrest Trump. So I'm keeping hearing of this stuff. And what I wanted to comment on was, it's like they're so damn afraid of him that they're so corrupt. They're willing to do anything they got to do to try to keep him from running. But I don't think this is going to work. I think it's going to backfire.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're really planning to do. I know he said that, and his saying that they're going to arrest him on Tuesday sounds kind of like a warning shot and a sounding the alarm type of a thing. And Trump tends to be proven right about some of the things that he said. For example, Obama wiretapping Trump Tower. The media's all, Trump said without evidence that Obama wiretapped Trump Tower. And then came to find out that the Obama administration was spying on the Trump campaign. It's ridiculous. So.
Yeah, that was before, and that was like during the campaign and after he was elected.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, the evidence showed that. The guy, I forgot what his name was, that he was supposed to be the Durham guy, and the other guy that he hired for the attorney general or whatever. Both of those guys wound up being rhinos, man. It's just, we're just in this cycle, man, that the people know that Trump is speaking. Have you ever seen that Dave Chappelle thing on YouTube? You need to go check it out, where he's listening to Trump during that campaign against Hillary, and he says that Hillary and Obama, they're all crooked, that these people all get money from these mega donors and all.
Yeah.
And then he says, they're all crooked. And he looks at Hillary, he said, and the announcer says, well, how do you know? And it shows Hillary and Obama shaking their head. He said, because I used to be one of their donors. I know they're crooked.
Yep.
And that's the truth. I mean, what he's telling us is these people don't work for us. They work to line their own pockets, and it's obvious. There's a good thing on the war in Ukraine, and all these countries over there in Europe, Germany, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, all of them, they don't want to be involved in this, but they're being pressured by the United States.
Yeah.
And it's no doubt that Biden had a hand in that. There's quotes Biden actually saying that they would take care of that Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
Oh.
And, I mean, I mean, Biden actually said that before the election. He said, we'll take care of that. And then suddenly, like they're joking, like, just like he said, if you don't fire the prosecutor, then you don't get the $1 million, the quid pro quo.
Right, that Ukraine situation. I mean, he has, to me, he has plausible deniability on those things, too, because there's ways to, like, hey, stop working with Russia on this Nord Stream pipeline. There's ways of taking care of it other than, like, bombing it down there. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him for sure. You may well be right that he's this way. But Biden is, one of the reasons I kind of like him is he's a tough talker. He talks tough, and it's kind of refreshing. He talks very rough and inaccurate a lot, and that's one of the things I like about him, because he just speaks off the cuff. He's a liar, whereas Trump tells the truth, and Trump is for what's right. Biden's for surrendering America to the POCs and the gays and all that mess and the transgenders. But still, like, I find him somewhat charming. So, but anyway.
I laugh when I hear Biden talk.
Yeah, he's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, he just makes me laugh. He's so, it is. It's kind of entertaining, But
yeah.
I'm 62, Hank. I'm an older guy. I've been a Republican since Ronald Reagan.
Nice.
Before that, I was a Democrat, or a demon rat, as we call them out here in Carolina.
They weren't as bad back then, though, I don't think.
No, they weren't. And like my grandfather, he was a Democrat. He's what we call a blue dog Dixiecrat back then,
Nice.
He used to tell me they're for the working man, And Democrats were decent then, some of them.
Yeah.
But now it's like if you look at their policies and all, it's all, like you said, the POC, RT, LGBT, the alphabet mafia, and all this stuff. That they support every crooked, ungodly agenda out there, man. And
yeah, it's a shame.
I'm like you. I love your. One of the things I like about your show is you turn me on to some good Christian music, some different stuff.
Right on.
that I've never heard before, man. I'm like, where did he get this stuff, man? You know?
I grew up with most of it. That's funny, man.
Well, I
right
remember Striper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm old enough. But some of the stuff you played, I guess it's more California-based or something, you know. We're big out here on gospel music,
nice.
Southern gospel. You know, I listen to Toby Mac and stuff, you know, stuff like that too. Yeah, they're out of Virginia and Tennessee and North Carolina. We got, you know, as long as it glorifies God, Jesus, you know, I'm okay with it, you know. But yeah.
Cool, man.
Old Biden, I call him old Biden because he's like Obama.
I know. He has the Obama administration people all over again. And Biden doesn't. He doesn't really. He's like the blown and buffeted by the waves. Like he'll just follow whatever's politically expedient to support. I don't think that he cares about the transgender situation or the gay situation. I mean, he is kind of like a mama, but I don't take him to be a sincere type of a guy. I don't think, but maybe he is.
No.
Yeah.
No, funny. I don't either. I can remember back years and years ago. He was, when he was younger, he was kind of what my grandmother. She's the one. I have to honestly say, my wife's family. They were from. They moved around like we're a military family, but that's where I got my politics. And when I started talking to my wife's grandmother, she was like, "Son, you're all confused." And then she introduced me to the Republican Party back then when Ronald Reagan came up. And I've been a Republican since then. But now I'm what we call out here. They call it unaffiliated. If you're not for any party.
Okay.
And so I tell people I serve King Jesus.
Nice.
I'm for we need to have a whole new party. You know, I call them repugnants now because they just bend over for Obama and Biden. They don't. You've seen here lately when they voted for those. They voted for all those alphabet mafia laws and all about.
Yeah.
And it was and they were from North Carolina. These guys that are supposed to be conservatives, you know, and strong Republican conservative, white Republican conservative males, like they're the devil or something, you know.
Yeah.
I like the point you were making a while ago too with your caller. The same issue where you're supposed to have. They claim that we have all these problems with the MAGA Republicans, insurrection and violence and all. It's the same thing with this racism issue. Where are all these racists? Every time there's some kind of shooting or something, you don't. It's never a white conservative Christian or something. That's what they want.
Right.
The Southern Poverty Law Center says, see, it's a white boy from North Carolina that loves Jesus, quoting his Bible and drinking a beer. He's the killer. You know.
Yep.
If it's a black male that goes in and shoots up a mall, which we've had several of lately, and I don't say that to point fingers at color or race. I'm like Jesse. I believe there's discrimination. There's no such thing as racism.
Right.
It's a made up ideology that they want to sell you.
And you can discriminate for right, or you can discriminate for wrong. But you can.
Yeah.
But discrimination is a basic right, whether you're right or wrong in your discrimination.
Well, I mean, the word means that you get to choose, right? You need to be discriminate.
Yeah, you better be discriminating with your taste and your morals and all that.
Yeah.
Morality.
I have discriminating taste. That's right.
Yep.
There's some things I don't like to eat, man. I tried it. And I was like, that's no good. I'll pass on snails.
That's right.
I don't want no escargot.
Yeah.
I don't get that with wine and cheese on a snail.
Gross.
Not for me.
Me neither. I'm assuming. I've never tried it, but I don't really feel like it. Well, I appreciate it, Richard. It's good to hear from you, man. Take care.
Good to talk. Keep up the good work, man, and I'll be on the side listening, man. I try to catch a little bit of your show every day, you and Jesse both, man. He had a good show today where he was talking about his San Francisco this reparations and all.
Yeah.
People don't stand up. Can a white boy like Scotch Irish immigrant family like myself can we get some of that money too?
It wouldn't be any good for you. Just like it's no good for any of them either. It's spoiling.
That's probably right. Yeah, if you get something for free, it's no good, right?
Exactly.
You got to earn it, man, or otherwise
That's right.
it has no value. Amen, brother.
Nice,
all right,
man.
Well, I'll let you go. You probably got other callers. God bless, and keep it out of the ditches, man, and keep it on the road.
Nice. All right.
All right. Peace
Same
out.
to you. Bye. Richard in North Carolina. Super chat, a couple of super chats here. Referencing my Black Hebrew Israelite caller, BHI. Black Hebrew Israelite, that's what BHI stands for. If you're looking at the chat, or if you see Hake's abbreviations in the titles and descriptions. BHI, Black Hebrew Israelite. They think that they're Hebrew Israelites. Spoiler alert, gave a tip a couple of days ago towards the end of Friday's show, and I missed it. I am remiss, I believe. The mere fact that biblical scripture is in written form. Biblical scripture is in written form is evidence that the ancient Israelites weren't black. No black population ever had writing back then. So, eat that, BHIs. Sound it out. No, just kidding. I can't say that. This is a family-friendly show. Children-friendly. Shout out to the ladies who are looking after their children, allowing their children to listen to Hake, who's pretty clean. I'm excited about the music coming up today. But, yeah, that may be right. Thank you, spoiler alert. Maybe they hired a white. Maybe they hired a white to write the Bible. Anyway, shout out to the Black Hebrew Israelites. We still love the Black Hebrew Israelites, irregardless, which is not a word, of their confusion, because all got our false beliefs that we hold on to until we overcome, right? Hopefully. Shout out to the flat earthers, by the way. Based flat earthers need to get on the round tardness. I did another beach stream, B-E-A-C-H. I went to Santa Monica, the mother of St. Augustine, I believe I heard from one of my my followers on Twitter. He doesn't follow me, but it's a Twitter follower. That, St. Augustine's mother was Santa Monica. Why do they try to make the women a saint? Maybe she is. Yeah, it's a ball. It's obvious globe. The horizon when you go to the beach, it's clearly, like, look how crisp that horizon is. And it's straight. Let's say we were nearer one side of the earth than the other. Wouldn't the horizon be kind of slanted? It's like curved. You would see I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe because you can only see so far, according to you guys. Why don't we see Mount Everest? Maybe because it's so tiny, it's just a tiny point, and it just follows it right in with that crisp line? Or is it the atmospheric? Is it the atmospheric perspective when stuff gets blurry and hazy? Horizon is flat. Exactly. The flat horizon proves the ball Earth. There is refraction, too. Yeah, refraction means you can see over the horizon a little bit. That means you can see down there a little bit. I learned from one guy that when you go to see the sunset, when the sun is setting, it actually set 40 minutes prior. But because of the refraction, light refracts over even through the air. Then it turns, you see it later. Hake's Weekly Globe Earth Defense. Yes, indeed. It's clearly, plainly, a ball. You're not going to see it curved when you're when you're so close to the ground. It would look, and since you're always in the middle of it, it's always going to look consistent all the way across. Nice. CNN says it's real. I get my information from Common Nonsense Network. So anyway, check that out. It was fun. I argued on behalf of the Ball Earth. I saw some seaweed. I heard that there's 5,000 miles of seaweed going to be hitting Florida. So aren't you glad we didn't go to Florida? Whew. God's protecting us by keeping us in Los Angeles. Oh, man. But yeah, it's hitting the Gulf of Mexico. 5,000 mile bunch of seaweed. The world's not even, the continent of the United States of America is like less than 3,000 miles across. So how is there a 5,000 mile bunch of seaweed? How does that work? I don't even know. Let me check over here. No other super chats. That's okay. I appreciate it, irregardless. Before I get back to calls, hang tight, callers. Let me tell you about this hockey inclusion. I'm shaking my head. I should get my spittoon ready. This is from The Blaze. I saw it on Parler, of all places. March 18th report. That would have been Saturday? Yeah. Sharks player. Sharks. You ever heard of the Sharks? No, it's not a women's basketball team. That's the Sparks. This is hockey, professional hockey. I don't follow this sport, but I do appreciate the hockey players. I've never had hockey hair, but shout out to the Canadians, the Northern Americans. Sharks player refuses to wear LGBTQ-themed jersey because of his Christian faith. And furious hockey writers lash out. Absolutely a homophobe. And I think that I censored everything that I needed to censor. Thankfully, hockey is a pretty clean sport, and most of these sports writers, including males, bashing this guy. But they didn't cuss. Only the female cussed. Female sports writer. Sports writers are journalists. Journalists are the scum of the earth. Don't say that, kids. But it's a fact. They're liberal, anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-male propagandists, including the rhino outlet, the Wall Street Journal, which is not sports, but it's so-called journalism, right? They bashed PewDiePie, called him a Nazi. Ridiculous. No sense of humor. Not the right kind of sense of humor, anyway. Paul Sacca writes this article. There is a few tweets that San Jose, California, right? That's NorCal. They tweeted out a bunch of times during the day, March 18th in the evening. To Sharks Twitter from at San Jose Sharks hockey team. Whoever heard of them? I only follow the Kings. Is it the LA Kings still? Yeah, nice. Tonight's game coverage is going to look a bit different, and they put a rainbow flag emoji, not God's promise, the rainbow, but the radical homosexual agenda rainbow flag emoji with a blue heart. During tonight's game in Liu, meaning in place of our normal game content, we will be using this platform to offer information and facts about LGBTQIA plus topics. Our hope is that this content will serve as a reminder that there are issues more important than goals, highlights, and wins. Hockey is not for everyone until everyone is comfortable playing, working, or being a fan of this incredible game. Hockey is never going to be for everybody. It's not for everybody. I guess they're trying to expand. Or they're listening to their radical homosexual agenda people, the media, maybe these corporations. NHL, National Hockey League, right? Are they part of NHL? National Anything League is going to be like pro the woman, pro everything evil. SAP Center tweeted out, which I guess that's their where their arena. Check out a few of our special Pride-themed items. It's not... What month is this that they're doing this? They're doing it all different types of places in the year. Available at game time tonight. Pride Night at the Shark Tank. I guess Shark Tank is where their arena, right? Rainbow rolls. So like sushi with the rainbow food coloring, I assume. And then featured gear, Pride t-shirt. And so it's like a Sharks, something Sharks, San Jose Sharks, but with the rainbow stuff. Vulgar, huh? What is March? I thought June was supposed to be their Pride month. Maybe they have a history month too, like in September. Maybe it's March. There was something that went down a couple of months ago, if this feels like old news. A couple of months ago in January, I want to say, they were doing this thing too, and another hockey player declined to wear their jersey. Here's the San Jose Sharks tweeting again, Pride Night artist highlight. And this woman doesn't look like she plays much hockey, but maybe she does. In Canada, it's Pride season. The whole summer? Yeah. Anyway, Pride artist highlight. Pride Night artist highlight. Local color SJ artist, Hao Yi Chow, who loudly and proudly, quote unquote, made our Proud Night logo as a queer artist. Wanted to highlight the different sections of the LGBTQIA plus community, which is not a community. Communities are made up of families. And how they are seen. This gal. Whatever. So anyway, they tweeted out that same afternoon, San Jose Sharks, a statement from goaltender James Reimer. Reimer? R-E-I-M-E-R. This is a Christian man who didn't follow their agenda, their gay agenda. And you think he wrote this? He did not write this. I'm going out on a limb and saying he did not write this nor speak it. But apparently he agreed to it. Under the umbrella of the NHL's Hockey is for Everyone initiative. Oh, yeah, so it is the NHL. Hockey is for Everyone initiative. That's a lie. Hockey is not for everyone. The San Jose Sharks, I almost said Sparks. Might as well call them Sparks. They turn all girly, not the good kind, have chosen to wear jerseys in support of the LGBTQIA plus community tonight. For all 13 years of my NHL career, oh yeah, this is James Reimer. I have been a Christian, not just in title, but in how I choose to live my life daily. I have a personal faith in Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for my sins, and in response, asks me to love everyone and follow him. I have no hate in my heart for anyone, and I have always strived to treat everyone that I encounter with respect, whom I encounter, buddy, with respect and kindness. In this specific instance, I am choosing not to endorse something that is counter to my personal convictions, which are based on the Bible, the highest authority in my life. Whoa, the Bible is his highest authority. I thought it's supposed to be God, man, but anyway. I strongly believe that every person has value and worth, and the LGBTQIA plus community, yeah, right, he's called them that, like all others, should be welcomed in all aspects of the game of hockey, says James Reimer. Right. I think it's Reimer, right? And the San Jose Sparks team, Sparks, I'm calling them the Sparks, put out a statement. Continuing a long-standing commitment of allyship with the LGBTQIA plus community. How embarrassing. The fact that they're calling it that, you already know it's like a slap in the face to the gays because they know that it's so contrived. But the gays, I don't know, they like that, I guess. Blah, blah. Where did I leave off? Oh, first line. Sparks Sports and Entertainment is extremely proud to host our blah, blah, blah Pride Night week's events. Tonight's game, New York Islanders. Wow. Who knew that there was a team called the Islanders? Reinforce, and I'm not making fun of the hockey players. Shout out to the hockey players. We cherish you. Hockey fans, I mean. Reinforce our organization's values and dedication to an inclusive, welcoming, and safe environment for all guests in each of our venues. That's not safe. Promote the gay agenda to kids. This is supposed to be a family-friendly sport. As we promote these standards, we also acknowledge and accept rights of individuals to express themselves, including how or whether they choose to express their beliefs. Irregardless, no, they didn't say irregardless, it's not a word, of the cause or topic. As an organization, we will not waver in our support of the phony community, LGBTQIA, and continue to encourage others in active allyship. 2! I didn't get my spittoon. That was not a real spit. So anyway, the reaction. A hockey writer claimed that Reimer looked like a clown for his faith-based decision. I'm sorry, I thought that wearing the rainbow, I thought clowns wore like rainbow wigs sometimes. Y'all look like clowns. He looked normal. Another hockey writer vilified Reimer as absolutely a homophobe, like that's a real thing. That writer also says, Jesus would unequivocally love and celebrate the LGBTQ plus community. He forgot the IA. He'd be the first to wear a rainbow. And that was a male. Those are 2 male writers. I'll show you them in a second. A sports writer called the Sharks a trash organization for even putting out this hateful statement, adding that Reimer is hiding behind the Bible to refuse to endorse gay people having rights and existing. That's a woman. That's a woman who wrote that one. You know it. And I know it. A writer of a newsletter about sexism in sports lashed out at Reimer under the umbrella of disingenuous boop boop. You can boop right off. See, a woman cussing, not very ladylike, but we cherish her irregardless, which is not a word. If you truly believe the queer community is welcome in the hockey, you wear the shirt. You do not get to have it both ways. Jesus is not impressed. Women always speaking for Jesus. So if this sounds like a flashback, Reimer joins fellow NHL hockey player Ivan Provorov. I remember that guy. Isn't he? How many times am I going to say, isn't he? Isn't he Russian? Orthodox. Because Russian Orthodox. Based Russian Orthodox is, how low is our standard? We call them based for not wearing a LGBTQ-themed hockey jersey. Yeah, that was back during warm-ups in January, I think. Also in January, New York Rangers. Oh, as opposed to the New York Islanders. They nixed wearing rainbow-colored pride jerseys before their game. So they were going to do it, and then they nixed it. They're pushing, and it's gonna happen. Where's my spittoon? I don't have time to get it. So let me show you this Adam Z. Herman said, credit to the Sharks for forcing Reimer to look like a clown on his own rather than protecting him and by ruining it for everyone. And this Adam Herman guy, probably not a Christian. I don't think he's a Christian. He does hockey content at Bleacher Report. Oh, you can show the next one. Has his full-blown thing. Not full-blown thing. Full-blown, what is this called? Twitter profile. He was the one who looks like a clown. I'm looking at him. You look like a clown, buddy. Even though you're wearing a suit. Better dressed than Hake. As Sleepy Joe Biden said, a couple of well-dressed men. Maybe he's too well-dressed. Anyway, I don't know. Don't want to speculate about him. Ian Kennedy, another guy, Ian Kennedy CK, tweeted, stepped off a plane, and of course the news is of James Reimer, who is absolutely a homophobe despite the PR statement. Unfortunately, he plays for the Sharks, who have always been leaders in social inclusion. I don't know if that's sarcastic or what, but this guy, another male, purported white male, doesn't seem very Christian, though. He writes hockey news and Yahoo Sports NHL. Canadian. Psh. Psh. Writers. As the great Jewish comedian Evan Sayet wrote or stated, liberals don't do anything. They just write about people who do stuff. Or they act like people who do stuff in the case of actors. Or talk about people who do stuff because they're mainly in the media. Or they hold the money of the people who do stuff. Anyway. I don't know if it's, but anyway, that's what he says. This guy's a do-nothing liberal. How can you be a grown man and say, oh, absolutely a homophobe? Anyway, I'm going to plow through this last bit, and then we'll do music, and then we'll get to calls. Hang tight, guys. Kelsey Trainor, a female, says trash organization and league for even putting out this hateful statement. You don't endorse gay people. They exist. They are human. They live their lives. Hiding behind the Bible to refuse to endorse gay people having rights and existing is gross. That's what this lawyer, liar lady said. She's a lawyer, producer, writer. A she, her. Oh, I think there was another guy who was a he, him. Oh, Ian Kennedy's a he, him. Let's see. Yeah, Ian Kennedy, that guy, is a he, him, and this woman's a she, her. Mildly attractive, though. But full of ugliness on the inside. Terrible. Lindsay Gibbs is the vulgar woman, and I censored her cuss words. And I already read her statement from The Blaze. The Blaze quoted her. Under the umbrella of disingenuous bull bleep, you can F a bleep right off with this statement. If you truly believe blah, 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 Jesus is not impressed, you would wear the shirt. That's so ridiculous, huh? Isn't that ridiculous? This lady has a picture of some woman hugging some other woman with a pink hair and blue happy face drawn on the back of her head, or its head, or his head. A no BS newsletter about sexism in sports. BS is short for bogus speech, guys, children. Bogus speech. Probably she meant a different word, but we call it bogus speech here. Hat tip to one of JLP's guest hosts. She's also a she, her. Do people really think this way? I suppose so. I guess you can really be this deluded that you really useless job sector, sexism journalist. Yeah. Yeah, this Lindsay Gibbs gal, mildly attractive, right? At least she's smiling, right? Did up her hair, dressed up a little bit, put on some makeup. Right? But it's funny because this type of stuff is what pulls the Christians in too. To like, oh, look how evil they are. Let's bash them back. Fighting with the devil, like JLP has said. They legitimately believe this? Males? And these females? Don't worry your pretty little heads. Who cares if he's wearing a shirt or not? They're forcing the Christians into the closet. Oh, you better not even mildly... Says Kilo Alpha Tango. Yeah, I agree with you. I was just being overly gracious / lying. Fat girl says, got your six. Shout out to the fat girls. We cherish the gals. If everyone is mildly attractive, nobody is mildly attractive. It's an evil world. It's an evil world. Wish those hockey people well. So much hatred coming from the people who are pretending to be like, gay people exist, gay people have rights. Nobody said they don't, but the so-called same-sex marriage is not a right, and anti-discrimination laws are, you don't have a right not to be discriminated against. We're all discriminated against and discriminate. We better. Let's react Christianly, shall we? Guys, speaking of Christian, I love this track. It is children's music. This was Music Mama when I used to go to FH, Forest Home, Christian Family Camp. Mary Rice Hopkins, ever heard of her? Parents, ladies, mothers, you may like this for your kids. Little is Much by Mary Rice Hopkins from 1991. Well, at least it was put out in 1991 on the album 15 Singable Songs. Hope you like it. Grin and bear it, you musical Philistines. Or I suppose you could cover your ears or press mute or pause or go take a break, shovel snow. It's spring now, though. So drink your water, get healthy, get your sleep. And I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Little is Much by Mary Rice Hopkins.
Slain, and down he came like a giant earthquake. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much when you know who you are. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much. Zacchaeus was small, he could not see, and so he climbed up high in a tree. Jesus said, come down and follow me. Hear these words that I speak. I have come for the children, I have come for you. And through my name, greater things you will do. Whether you are a baby brand new, or if you are 102. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much when you know who you are. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much when you know who you are.
So good.
Little is much when he lives in your heart.
Am I right?
Little is much. Moses never liked to speak, and when he tried, his knees got
I remember
weak.
that.
He felt such pressure, he was under the heat, but with the words God gave him, he parted the sea.
Wow.
Little is much when he lives in your heart.
Hate's a bad influence.
Little is much when you know who you are. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much.
Ain't this copyright?
Little is much when he lives in your
Yeah.
heart. Little is much when you know who you are.
So talented.
Little is much when he lives in your heart.
This song is so cheerful.
Little is much.
That's right, Kaya and NC.
Little is much.
Oh, yeah.
Little is much.
Encore! There's more where that came from. Hake is starting a daycare. Right on, guys. We need more bass, says Cash App Bets H. Nice. We know Hake be jamming to this in the car. We're adults, Hake. We don't need a nap or a sippy cup. This is the real Tim Scott, not to be confused with the Rhino. Hake likes audio torture and is lying about his music choices. Whatever. There's just no hope, Hake. You've gone completely 51-50. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that. Hake, bro, this is gay AF. America first. Nah, Nugget Man, I mean, I liked it as a kid, and it's a great song. No, it's not. It's the opposite, Nugget Man. Not morally straight soundtrack. Whatever. Anyway, sweet little tune. Yeah. Commander Kim, I like that, Hake. They're forcing Christians into the closet. Yeah. You can't stand up for what's right, or even you can't. They forced participation with the gay agenda, almost. Well, NHL is kind of on the fence right now. Well, NHL is not on the fence. They're all in with the radical homosexuals, but they're not quite for violating the people's rights. A quick super chat before I get to the calls, guys. On Love's Soda does not like juice. Hake remembers the porn name, cannot recall the Christian birth names. Keep it up, Hake. I know. Well, because they never mentioned Stormy Daniels' real name. And I didn't know that I'd never heard of her before Trump. She got famous off of him. Stephanie Gregory Clifford. Okay, Stephanie Gregory Clifford. What a nice name. What is she? What is she? Early life check on this gal. Oh, she considered being a journalist. Liberal, confirmed. Her parents divorced 3 or 4 years after she was born. Then she was raised by her mother. Yeah, so cut her some slack. She was a Republican. What? She's been a Republican since 2010? She was a Democrat before 2010. Wow, based. No, I'm kidding. She's not based. Based on sand. Gross. Is it her Christian name? Is she a Christian? I don't even know. Check over here on Rumble. Let me check over here on... Buy me a coffee. But let me check on Ko-Fi. Thank you, spoiler alert, for that Ko-Fi tip. ko-fi.com/The Hake Report. Connor in New Jersey's on the line. Connor, thanks for calling, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing fine as well. Is it CONNER or OR? Just for my edification.
ER.
ER?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to apologize for the last time I called. It turned into more of a debate than a discussion. I wanted to be mostly discussion this time.
Oh, no problem. I like a little bit of debate and discussion and debate.
Yeah, and I didn't have I didn't have my ideas formally composed.
But that's all right.
More of an argument, you know.
No, but you had your impression of you're referring to when you thought that Tucker was pretending like all of J6 was justified and like it was totally peaceful. Yeah, but that was your
totally instead of mostly. That was my big problem. My wording was completely wrong, and it led to us not even being able to discuss it properly. That was my fault.
But I liked it. I liked it because that's how I liked it because that's how you thought.
Yeah, sure.
It's how you thought, and you're like one of the good guys. And so if one of the good guys is thinking,
I'm not trying to do anything bad or anything. I just wanted to come on and have a discussion.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk with you about the arrest thing because, as we understand right now, this is Trump's concern, right? He had a leak apparently to him that the DA's office in New York will be looking for him. I don't know if it's 100% certain yet that might be happening, right? But
right.
There hasn't really been an official confirmation. He's just concerned. So, I mean, I hope he isn't arrested for something stupid like Stormy Daniels. And I'm also hoping that this isn't going to be politically charged like some people are saying. Because we all know that the Jan 6 committee proposed charges to go against Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know exactly how legal proceedings can go, but if it's somehow possible that they could get him in court for Stormy Daniels and then somehow tack on these charges from January 6th, I think that might also be what he's concerned about, too, because I don't know exactly if it could lead to that just because they have him at the courts that day they're like, hey, while you're at it, we have these charges going against you or something like that. Again, I don't know how that works.
Me neither, man. I can't imagine that it would be like that. It would be separate.
No, I don't really think so either.
It would be separate trials.
How things have been lately, I don't know how dirty those charges could be thrown out. Like if it'll be more formally addressed to them, or if it's going to be like spur of the moment, like while they have them or something. But what I want to talk to you about is, I remember back in 2021 when the Jan 6 thing happened, there was a big thing from the U.S. Legal Code, Title 18, Section 2383, about inciting an insurrection. And one of the major things on there was if you're charged with inciting an insurrection in the United States, or even just being engaged in any form of rebellion or insurrection, you can no longer hold office.
Right.
So now if they end up charging Trump with the aid or even the inciting of the insurrection, he will not be able to run for president.
What insurrection?
For 2024. What they call January 6th. They call it an insurrection because of the upholding of the political process. The politicians in the Senate and the House of Representatives left. They held up
the proceedings, and they called that an insurrection?
Well, that's why they're calling it that, is because the politicians were forced to leave the House and the Senate rooms, and because of that, they had to wait till, I forget, like they didn't end till like very late in the evening that day. They usually don't stay till dark, but they were there for a while because of how long they were held up. I don't think the Trump supporters left till like 5 o'clock, so they were there from 1 to like 5. At least a good 4 hours of congressional time was wasted in that period, right? So
all their time is always wasted, buddy.
This is what they're using, though, to say that it was an insurrection, and that's the biggest thing. Is if somehow
it doesn't even make sense, though.
Just pop up. Well, I get that that's where you're coming from, and I kind of agree because there really is no formal, hard-hitting proof.
Insurrection is when you try to overthrow the government.
Well, that's what they're arguing, that this was when January 6th happened, that Trump was trying to prevent Biden from being past the presidency.
Because they disputed the results. It had nothing to do with that mess. Insurrection is when...
I'm not here to argue that, but what I'm saying, though, is if they do end up trying to charge Trump with this, and they do, and it goes through, he will not be able to run for president if he was charged with insurrection. So that's what I'm saying.
Just being charged?
Thing that I think, like if they try
just being charged or being convicted?
No, when you're charged and you're actually convicted, and like they hold in court that you did this, that you are no longer able to hold any form of office.
And why do you say you hope that it's? Why do you say you hope?
I'm not hoping for it. No. I'm just saying that I see this
Let me finish my question. Why do you say you hope that it's not politically motivated?
Why do I hope that his charge against Stormy Daniels wasn't politically motivated?
No, whatever charges they bring are politically motivated.
Well, I was referring to the Stormy Daniels thing in particular. But I'm hoping
kind of know that
about Stormy Daniels and it doesn't evolve into something else, because I don't know how the legal prosecutions work. So
you don't know that it's like you don't already know that it's politically motivated.
I mean, we can make the debate of it. I don't really know the full story. I don't even know who Stormy Daniels is, so I'm not going to sit here and say it is or isn't. But to my understanding, it's a more personal charge, isn't it?
No, it's not personal. It's plainly politically motivated, man.
I don't know.
It just takes common sense.
I don't really know.
It just takes some common sense.
Okay. Well, again, I'm not really too concerned about the Stormy Daniels thing. I think that's something that will blow over.
Right.
But I do think the charges that people should be worried about that might come up because of the January 6th committee is Trump being charged with the insurrection before
why should they be worried?
Spot for president? Because it threatens his ability to be president.
But why should they worry?
If they want him to be in office, then maybe they should.
We can't do.
They
we
want
can't
to go
do
after Trump. If
what can
we're
we
saying
do
that
about
Trump has had politically charged attacks, right? Then what is not more politically charged than trying to threaten his presidency?
Wanting doesn't do any good, though. Wanting and worrying doesn't do any good.
Sure, But I'm just saying, in terms of like the political atmosphere, this is something that we could potentially see in the coming months before the primaries even.
Right.
It's
a stretch. It's a stretch to even call it an insurrection. The mainstream media has been calling it that, probably because of that reason that you said.
I'm not going to debate that, but that's what the charges, according to the January 6th committee, are. And I'm not saying that they're the arbiters of truth here, but if they have charges against him and they can hold him in court for that, and they get, let's say, like a politically charged judge who wants him charged for the insurrection, then we can get an idea of where that's going to go.
Oh, okay.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, again, trying to say that he should be charged for this. I'm just saying, if you're a Trump supporter, this is probably something that you'll want to, like, keep an eye out for, because it might actually end up happening before he even ends up in office.
I don't even need to keep an eye out for it. We'll hear, believe me, we'll hear about it without even keeping an eye out for it.
That's true. I mean, Trump is pretty often talked about in the media.
Yeah.
But that's my prediction. I think.
What's your prediction?
They will try to come with that. These charges from the January 6th, they're going to try to use them to prevent him from running in 2024.
Oh yeah, they're definitely trying to.
Yeah. No, that's what I wanted to come talk with you about. And you know, I know your thoughts that, like, you don't think there's solid ground or really any reason to call it an insurrection.
What do you think? What do you honestly think?
I mean, again, I mentioned earlier that he did hold up the Senate and House of Representatives when they left and whatever.
That doesn't make it holding something up. Hold on. Disruption isn't insurrection. What do you honestly think? Tell me what you honestly think.
Well, that's what I was saying. So I know that happened, but I don't really know if we can call it an insurrection or a rebellion of the government per se.
What would you call it?
Mostly a riot, I would say, like a peaceful protest that led to a bit of a riot that ended up in the destruction of property.
And you think Trump had anything to do with the riot aspect of it?
Not really, no.
Why are you so hesitant?
Well, I want to make sure that I'm being honest, and I want to say no because he never said specifically to be violent. He said to have your voices be heard.
He specifically said to be peaceful, in fact.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm getting at. There was never a mention that anyone should be targeted. That's what I'm trying to recall. Like, he never even said anything about Mike Pence, even though he has much drama with Pence at the time.
He did mention Mike Pence.
He never said that.
He said, I hope Pence does the right thing.
Yeah, he said, I hope Pence does the right thing. He didn't say, I hope people go and grab Pence, right? That's what I'm getting at. He never made these violent calls like that. So could we really say that he was inciting violence? No, I can't say that, because that's not really what happened. He called for people to go peacefully. Now, if individuals had their own intentions, can we really blame him for that? I don't know. I don't think so.
Obviously not.
I think that's kind of out of his hands at that point. A mob is a mob, right?
Yep.
So,
and a lot of those people were no friends of Trump.
What's up?
A lot of those people were no friends of Trump, the worst offenders. There were some, like, there's this one Hispanic guy who, like, was a Trump supporter, I think, who just got overexcited and he pepper sprayed or something, maybe tasered a cop or something. But, you know, he was not raised right, and he's just overly passionate and got out of hand. Fell into that trap.
I mean, I do think that was a problem with that day.
I forget what you say you studied. Did you study law?
I didn't tell you what I studied, actually. I'm a STEM major. People ask, like, what kind of studies I did in the chat.
Are you in your late 20s?
Early 20s.
Oh, early 20s. Oh, okay. So you're still in school.
Yeah. I'm planning to get out soon, eventually move out. I want to pay off my student loans within a year, because I don't have a lot of, not loans, debt. I don't have a lot of debt built up. I went to a more affordable university.
You working right now?
Yeah, I'm doing an internship right now, so I can get better pay when I'm out.
Nice.
It seems like a scam, but it's not. I know these people. It's a family company, so I know they're not just going to throw me away.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Right on.
They just want me to get the work experience, and, you know, so that's cool. You know, they're taking care of me.
Yeah. Are you hoping to vote for Trump in 2024?
If he's on the ballot,
do you hope that he's on the ballot?
Yeah, I do, because I'm pro meritocracy. I want the best ideas to win, right? And if he's got the best ideas at the primaries, I'll probably end up voting for him. It's just a matter of who I think is best going to lead the GOP against whoever blue candidate is going to be up there. Because unlike most people, I don't think the election was stolen. I do think just enough brain-dead libs came out and voted for the oldest white man in presidential history. I think a bunch of brain-dead morons came out and voted for that guy. So,
you know, you might be right about that because
that's my honest opinion, because I know a bunch of young people who are brain dead and stupid and voted for Biden.
Well, I disavow calling people brain dead and stupid, but you maybe.
Well, my generation, it's easy.
Right? No, I used to think before Trump came on the scene, I thought everybody my age, young and younger, was just off the deep end liberal and dumb, or else didn't care and just fell in line with the liberals.
It's the schools. It's 100% the schools.
And we saw social media pushing to vote. They're reminding people to vote. They're telling, oh, here's how to sign up to vote. And they passed out the mail-in ballot forms, and you can vote anywhere at any precinct. You don't have to go to one specific place. So they made it very easy for any idiot to vote.
We need to make it so you need an ID to vote, no matter what.
Well, I disavow such hateful racism.
Is it racism?
No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm totally kidding.
If we can make state IDs something that isn't like crazy expensive, like $5, for example.
No, it should
every
be
U.S.
50.
citizen had to scrap up $5.
50.
Then I think it wouldn't be hard.
No,
well, whatever price you want to make it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think the voter IDs do secure who's voting, right?
Yep.
That's, if people want to make sure that the system's working, make sure you're represented by presenting an ID every time you go.
It's not the only thing. There's all kinds of slippery ways to
and what's funny? I hate to cut you off. I just watched a video recently, a street interviewer. He was going up to white liberals asking if voter ID was like a good idea, and they were like, "No, I think it's racist because not all people, like especially blacks and Hispanics, have ID." And then this guy went up to people in Harlem, and he's asking them, and they're like, "I got ID. What are you talking about?"
Right. I know.
It's
silly.
Like these white people come up with silly narratives to say that like quote unquote minority groups can't achieve what we do, and it's like they're literally doing the same thing in a lot of the cases. You just come up with arguments for them to feel defeated.
Right.
You're worsening their mentality.
Those are not normal whites who are doing that, but they're some of the normal kid whites, children of conservatives, are not. They're brainwashed in these colleges. And I remember the first time I saw voter ID being called racist was one of my friends from school. He posted it on Facebook. I'm like, what? How in the world? And then I read into it. They disproportionately don't have it, or it's harder for them to get it. IDs are required for all welfare programs, including Section 8 and food stamps, according to Spoiler Alert.
So what's their argument here? If you can get it for all these government programs,
and
why aren't you using it to vote?
Illegals get fake IDs from MacArthur Park, I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but over here in LA,
work if they were scammed.
They get I-9s so that they can work here legally, which is like an I-9 is supposedly proves that you're here legally. You have the right to work here, but yet most of them don't have driver licenses. When I was working with them, oddly, very odd. And they didn't want to drive down to a job in San Diego, California. It's too close to Mexico, too close to the border. They don't want to get picked up.
I want to let you wrap up because I know you got other callers and stuff, but one more thing.
Okay.
Since you're from the South, I want to ask you, what do you think about this idea of using military action to try to handle the cartel situations that are going on?
Where appropriate.
That, with the consent of Mexican leaders and stuff, right? Like, so that way there would be no issue to offer military assistance and stuff to help remove the crime and allow like democratic republics to actually function like in Mexico. Do you think that could actually be a benefit?
If they're doing stuff, if the cartels are doing stuff that affects us here, yes, but we just ought to be better at securing the border and kicking out the illegals who are here and anybody who's working with the cartels up here, and let Mexico deal with it themselves. the way El Salvador is dealing with it themselves. I don't like all of this meddling in other people's affairs when we're not even securing our own self.
I get it. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, a little bit of it.
Like,
I wouldn't be against
Mexico is given the brunt of like all these people who come in, and it's the cartels who allow these people to migrate through Mexico into the United States. It's not, the politicians have no say in Mexico anymore. The cartels rule everything.
That's what I hear. But that's because it's a corrupt...
reach out and they're like, we want to provide a freer society here.
That's because the people in general there are corrupt, I think.
Well, that is a big problem too. I mean, I'm trying to make the politicians sound innocent with what I just said, but it's the truth. They are corrupt too.
And their voters are corrupt. They come up here and they're used to the cops being all crooked, and they become cops too, and they become crooked cops. And they're not trusting the police, but they should not be trusting themselves because they're the untrustworthy ones. It's a mess. It's a messed up culture.
I would like to see it a little better, so it wouldn't be so bad for us. You know what I mean? Considering how, the fentanyl that's coming into the United States, it is affecting us.
Yeah.
We can't deny that there is an effect.
Well, Connor, appreciate you,
I'm not looking to go... Wait, what's up?
I appreciate you.
All right, yeah, I'll catch you later.
All right, take care. Let me cover this story about the... you ever heard of Robin DiAngelo? Is that her name? Is she Italian? Not a normal white, anyway. This is clip 12. Real Christopher Rufo. He's the guy who fights against the CRT stuff in the mainstream. Very mainstream, sort of a conservative guy. Appears on Fox News. He said Robin DiAngelo, who wrote... What's the name of her book again? Robin DiAngelo. She wrote some book about white fragility. Nice racism she also wrote about, too. What does it mean to be white? And she's not even a normal white. 66-year-old woman from San Jose area, I think, which is close to San Francisco, a little too close to San Francisco. Youngest of 3 daughters, born to Robert Z. Taylor and Marianne Jean DiAngelo. Oh, she took her mother's maiden name, I guess. She lived with her mother in poverty until her death from cancer, the mother's death. She and her siblings lived with their father after that. Had a child in her mid-20s, became a single mother, worked as a waitress before beginning college at the age of 30. Saw poverty led to class oppression. Give me a break. And then she identified personally benefiting from white privilege. She's not even a normal white person. Even while being poor and white, the privilege of having your fellow whites be relatively well-behaved, so you get a little bit more trust from other people, maybe. In 2018, she stated her experience of poverty would have been different had she not been white. So she's the one who wrote White Fragility, why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism, because it doesn't exist, and we have better sense than that. Well, here she is talking with some other ladies, and I may be using the term loosely, but we cherish them irregardless, which is not a word. One of them is a light-skinned black woman, another one I'm not sure, and another one I'm not sure. Maybe there's 2 blacks, but she's talking, I don't know what the context is, but here's this Robin DiAngelo lady.
And then
talking.
I'm a big believer in affinity space and affinity work. And I think people of color need to get away from white people and have some community with each other. And I'll let that go and maybe see if anyone else wants to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. I say, sure. Stay away from Robin DiAngelo while you're at it. Affinity spaces. I miss when Hake wore 2 watches. Yeah, the other watch is in good hands. I trust. Daryl B. Harrison, whose tweet I saw about this, said, for people like Robin DiAngelo, it's always other white people who black people need to get away from, but never her. DiAngelo is a woke Bull Connor. Don't do that to Bull Connor. I don't know who Bull Connor is exactly. Only instead of dogs and fire hoses, she uses divisive and factious tenets of critical race theory to keep their blacks in place. Sounding like an old line segregationalist, says Chris Rufo. I don't know. I don't know if I get away, if I take offense to this. But she's a mama type spirit, of course, right? I think black people people of color need to get away from white people. Daryl B. Harrison is a black Christian man. Bull Connor. Let's see here. Connor. Theophilus Eugene Connor, 1897 to 1973. American politician, commissioner of public safety for the city of Birmingham, Alabama, more than 2 decades. Democrat, back in the old school Democrat when strongly opposed the civil rights movement, so-called civil rights movement of the 1960s. Oh, okay. He enforced legal racial segregation and denied so-called civil rights, which no such thing, to black citizens, especially during 63's Birmingham campaign led by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, more like Southern Communist Leadership Conference, right? It's not very Christian. That was MLK's group, right? He's well known for directing the use of fire hoses and police attack dogs against so-called civil rights activists, meaning rioters, including against children supporting the protests. National media broadcast those tactics on television, horrifying much of the world. You know, the tender-hearted liberals and weak boomers back in the day it was the boomers, overreacting to these scenes, which may have been totally on the up and up. Mostly on the up and up. Maybe some of the cops got a little overboard. Who knows? They want to hold Bull Connor. Was he ever charged for any of this stuff, or was it just... Is there something wrong with that? I don't know. We need to bring back the fire hoses and dogs. He kept the riots at bay. They didn't destroy so much of Birmingham, did they? Or did they? I don't know. I know they did have riots back then. Communists. Enemies of America. So I think Daryl B. Harrison, although he's a good guy, Bull Connor's a much better man than Robin DiAngelo. She's not a man at all. She's a woman. Woman. Daryl B. Harrison, I think he's with one of these big churches, I want to say. He had a nice statement about abortion. Faith Community or something like that? Anyway, it's not important. Grace Church. Yeah. You guys know? You guys may know better than me. Grace Church, which is led by that one guy who's like a well-known John MacArthur. Mainstream Christian guy, relatively conservative, I guess. Yeah, no, Bull Connor's way better than her. She's so phony, though. Ridiculous. Let me get to William, a voice of reason. William in California. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was nice. I went to the beach. I recorded it. I streamed it out.
Hung out in Beach. Would you go to Long Beach or
Santa Monica?
Huntington. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Santa Monica.
It's the most convenient one. It's straight out the 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Been there many times. We had Happy Women's Month to you.
Thank you.
Before we get to that, I appreciate Joe in Phoenix. You know, he's very verse. But his sources, well, I can tell you this. My sources tell me if Trump is arrested, my sources tell me he will win in a landslide.
Yeah, because that's outrageous, huh? It's like, obviously.
Very outrageous.
Obviously,
it's very dangerous.
They've been
very
hating,
dangerous.
They've been hating Trump ever since anytime he speaks up and tells something true, which was in 2015, June 2015, and even before that, 2011, I think, they hated him.
Yeah. don't like when people tell the truth. And this other thing with the insurrection, again, you know, you're going to probably have to put this up on the screen and look at the First Amendment and look at that last sentence where it says the right of people to peacefully assemble and petition the government for redress and grievances. Since I've said this about 20 times, I'm not as smart as Trump's attorneys. You can rest assured they're going to lean on that.
Yeah, right. Trump
That's
was,
right.
he said nothing wrong. I mean,
No,
I of course disavow it for the sake of my channel, but so much of what he says gets proven true in some way or other down the line.
Yeah. Well, the destruction of property, I'm going to really go out on a limb that I've been wanting to say this for a long time. I really don't believe that a lot of the people that were tearing things up, okay, I think there was a mixture in this crowd and some people disguised with Trump outfits on.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. And
quite possible.
Real possible. The reparations thing up in San Francisco, I can't believe black people are following this. They absolutely have nothing coming.
You think so? You don't think they're going to get their money?
You can't. You guys better start looking at the law. You cannot give one ethnic group something and not give everybody else the same.
Sure you can. You ever heard of affirmative action? They've been doing it for years.
Yeah, you've been getting it already. Yeah, welfare, affirmative action, you're getting in schools you have no business in. Yeah, you've been getting it already.
Yeah.
They're talking about $5 million a qualified black person in San Francisco. Let me inform you, that's my city. Do you know how many black people are in San Francisco?
No, not very many, though.
47,000. In other words, you got a football team that's 1-8. You got a stadium that's half filled. That is not even enough people to fill up a football stadium.
That's crazy.
And where is this $5 million coming from? Because as you know, some of those blacks are mixed with white. So who pays who?
Yeah, I know. And anyway, like, well, nobody owes anything for slavery. Slavery was a deal set up, and the slaves got their freedom. That's nice, I guess. And
you got a caller that called in a few minutes ago. He's same age as I am. He's 62 years old. He's got a voice of reason.
Yep.
He started voting around the same time as I did, which was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Now, who did I pick over Jimmy Carter and Ronald? Between Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter, this is my first time going to the voting polls. Who do you think I picked?
Reagan.
You're doggone right. Okay, so anybody like these 20-year-old callers, 22, 23, 24, you have why are we listening to you? You have only seen two presidents. One of them was the worst. The other was the best.
Yeah.
Now you got Biden. So you've seen three presidents. I wouldn't be listening to you either.
Right.
You don't know how this works. And if this man is arrested, he will win in a landslide. Now, let's get to the women's. We cherish the women.
Do you cherish women?
I'll plead the fifth. Look, they got there's a story I sent you about a Shania and Shania Hall in Italy, Texas.
Okay.
Killed 3 of her 5 children.
Ooh.
Evil twins.
Dang.
You got the story.
And those are, well, yeah, women can be evil sometimes. I mean, they are evil all the time.
CPS goes to the door. She's not supposed to have the kids. The kid's supposed to be watched by the grandmother. The grandmother drops the ball. The CPS goes to the house. They find out the children are in the house with her, which she's not supposed to have unsupervised visiting. And they go in the house, and 3 of the 5 kids are dead, and the last 2 are seriously injured, stab wounds.
Yeah.
Happy Women's Month.
Yeah. Ladies, you got to get it together. You can do
Yeah,
it.
man. Oh, and
Terrible.
Miami. What's wrong with the blacks?
Oh, I heard a little bit about that on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Riots and fighting and all kinds of mess.
Right.
Probably some theft.
And so let me get this straight. We're not supposed to talk about the blacks? Is that really what we're doing here? Because the cage gets rattled when you bring these things up that are the current events of the day.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to talk about this? A mother killing all her doggone children?
That's wild.
And the LBG, whatever alphabet.
And she was a black lady.
Yes, yeah. The LBG, whatever the alphabet thing.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I'm 62. Anybody younger than me talking about the Klan is doing this to the people and the white supremacists is doing to the black people, that is not true. You are lying.
Yeah.
You are lying. You were in grade school in the 60s, and you were in junior high in the 70s and high school in the late 70s. You did not get oppressed, or whatever you call it.
Fair enough.
You don't have a payment coming from slavery.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I don't know why they're in San Francisco, not even 50,000 black people. And they said to qualifying blacks, $5 million apiece.
$5 million apiece?
Will you times 5,000 times 47,000?
Oh, wow.
Don't forget to carry the one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that's a lot of money.
That's wild.
That's wild. There's hardly any blacks in San Francisco, and you only got about 47,000. But out of the 47,000, I want you to times that 5 million apiece. Where's that coming from?
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous.
It's not going to happen. Why would you follow something like that? This is nothing but Gavin Newsom and the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. They get to do this all the time. They get to use the blacks. And what kills me about my people is they will follow this stuff. They as soon as they say something free, and I'm quoting Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1964.
Oh,
when they
took
the black man out of the household. What did he say?
He said those
ninjas are getting uppity.
He also
and
said
let's
that they would
give them some free stuff, affirmative action, welfare, Section 8, food stamps, and get the fathers out of the house, which they accomplished. Let's give them some free stuff. They'll vote for us for the next 400 years.
200, I think he said.
End quote.
Yeah.
200, yeah. End quote. That's what they had for you, and you fell for it.
Yeah. Ridiculous. William, I got to keep it moving. Appreciate you, man.
Talk to you later, man. Keep it moving.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Rick in Hampton, Virginia is on the line. Rick, how you doing, man?
James, what's going on with you, man?
Just recovering from my rough weekend at the beach.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
you
it was
did
nice.
some surfing? No, water skiing?
just running around. I did pull right after my recording of the beach. I pulled something in my calf, and I was like hobbling for like an hour or more. After that, what a mess. But anyway, yeah, I'm doing fine.
That's cool.
I enjoyed the sun.
Good. That's cool.
In the morning hours.
Enjoy the water, man. You know how what's the temperature out there in L.A.?
You know, it was in the 60s on Saturday. I think it's the 50s or 60s right now, 58. Not too bad
cool.
if the sun is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold though if the sun's not out. It's freezing.
Yeah, that's sort of cool for L.A. though. No, I'm used to seeing y'all in the 70s and 80s.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so I was, man, you know what? I would like to meet old doggone William. He's a good guy, man.
Nice.
Every time he calls, it's like I calls right behind him. And I was about to say the same thing. The NAACP talking about blacks should, I guess, take the $5,000. It was a $5 million, $5,000 payout what California trying to do.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. They're
And I'm
probably
like,
gonna, like JLP says, they're gonna get it because they keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're for evil, and evil wins when Satan is the god of most of the people, which he is. So, are you out around people working or talking or something?
No, I'm in the reception room.
Oh, I see. Getting some background noise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's about it. How's that now?
Is the NAACP is involved in that stuff? Is that what you said?
No. I was visiting my mom at the hospital.
No, I'm saying the NAACP is involved in reparations?
Yeah, they're trying to tell the blacks not to even take it.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
They want more or something? It's not enough? Or
it's not enough. I thought it was 5 million, but what is it, 5 million or 5,000?
I don't even know.
Well, I'm like this. If you can't manage 1,000 a month, you're going to go to that 5,000 so fast, and then they're going to be talking about reparations part 2.
Yeah.
It's like moral case. Something like also with the biblical question with just ask how you know when you got what's the biblical question for the week?
This most recent one? Oh, why don't you have perfect peace is what he asked.
Yeah, perfect peace because people got so much anger and unforgiveness.
Right.
Those two, if you forgive and you forgive, you'll be fine.
That's why the whites shouldn't be apologizing. Like the Christians had the white men at Promise Keepers thing years ago, 20 years ago or more, 25, 30. That they had the Christians had the whites apologizing to the blacks for slavery and racism and all that dumb stuff. But when you apologize or when you give reparations or something, you're just going to make them more miserable, make them feel justified in their bitterness, and they're going to want more and more and more. They're never satisfied.
Yeah.
It's shameful.
When you're angry, you never get enough.
Yeah.
Nothing
Very
help
true.
you. Nothing help you, man. If you're still angry, they can give you the cow, the heaven, the moon, and if you're angry, it's just not enough. It's just I'm telling you, man, if you hold on to anger long enough, man, you'll start hearing voices, colors seem to be changing on you because your spiritual and mental state has a lot to do with your health, man.
Yeah.
More than what people even think.
That makes a lot of sense. I totally believe that. People find a way to be stressed out and miserable no matter how good their situation is.
Yeah, that's how when you don't have peace and when you have anger, you overreact, you make bad decisions under emotion, and blame somebody else why you made that crazy decision instead of owning up to it. Anger makes you play God, be judgmental and patient.
Yeah,
all about you. That's all anger does.
I don't think that the NAACP, National Association Against Colored People, has ever been good. I think they've always been evil, is my suspicion. I think they're worse now than ever, but just like the Democrats and the Republicans.
Back in the day when they first got established, they were pretty useful, but not now. They in the Democratic payroll now.
Yeah.
So they just help them push their evil agendas using blacks to spearhead it. That's all they do.
Right. And the blacks never had it so good. Spoiler alert says, in the long run, slavery under the white man in North America was literally the best thing that ever happened to the black race. Nothing better has ever happened to them as a people in terms of having a Christian upbringing and getting to live in a country that was functional and all that stuff, led by the whites. Yeah, it was pretty good.
It kills me when I hear blacks say, well, we want to go do our own thing. If blacks were left here in charge, I'd give the U.S. a ghetto. I mean, about 6 months before it becomes a ghetto, no roads, everything bankrupt. Look at the HBCUs.
Yep.
They go into the same problems, not having enough for nothing, using the money for inappropriate things.
Right.
And they go through the same thing.
And they're more shamelessly corrupt than anybody. Rick, I got to run, man. Appreciate your call.
No problem, there, James. Love you, brother. Keep up the good work. I'll be in touch.
All right.
Hey, now, is William from L.A. or San Francisco?
Oh, I think he's in the Bay Area. Yep.
Wow. Man, I know he have it bad up there, man.
Oh, yeah. Anywhere you go, there's going to be hell. But thank you, Rick. Take care.
Okay.
All right. Art in Ohio. I cannot get to you, man. Appreciate your call. I'll get right to you next time. Justin in Fullerton, California. Why Jesus Christ went first to the Jews, then the Gentiles, asks Justin in California. And Maze in the sundown town, my favorite caller from Dayton, Ohio. I also like Blazing Hogs from Dayton, Ohio, but she asks, what's wrong with the blacks? Or she's going to say what's wrong with the blacks or something. Maze, call me back, and Justin, call me back, and the rest of the callers. I cannot get to you. I have some super chats to get to on John F. on Ko-Fi, KOFI.com/The Hake Report. The Uncle Tom channel on YouTube posted a documentary made by G. Edward Griffin called Anarchy, USA. It exposed the civil rights movement back in the 1960s. Nice. Thanks, man, for the tip. I shall have to check that out. I shall check that out. Greenwall says Mexico has voter ID and election day as a holiday on with a diamond over there on D Live. Well, thank you, man. Now is time for the last bit of music. This is Mary Rice Hopkins, based Mary Rice Hopkins. This track is entitled Running for the Prize. I used to breathe this to myself because I couldn't quite sing it when I was running in high school and maybe even college. Running for the Prize by Mary Rice Hopkins on the 1991 album 15 Singable Songs. Thanks and adios, America.
It's time to wake up or put on my shoes. I'm running a race and I can't lose. The race will start within my heart. There's a winner in me and you. To win is to do my best, and I'm running for the prize. To win is to do my best with Jesus by my side. Well, I'm gonna make it. I've made up my mind. I'll leave all my worries. I'll leave them behind. I got what it takes, and I'll run this race straight to the finish line. To win is to do my best, and I'm running for the prize. To win is to do my best with Jesus by my side. So I think I'll get up and put on my shoes.